everybody.
Yes.
Like they did for these, I don't even.
Yeah, this is just central.
Yeah.
Oh, she's like the temporary mayor. The mayor is available. Second. And then you can have.
Not a vice
Yeah.
I could understand that.
Right, yes.
I don't know.
She's the mayor of Hearts.
I don't know that. Oh, sorry.
I'm expecting like the agenda and some cookies waiting for it.
Water. The old one used to do water. The old days, water
Yeah.
was free.
Yeah.
Give them water.
Yeah, but you're.
All right.
All right.
All right, are we ready to get this meeting called to order? All right. Okay, let's get going. Welcome, everybody. We'll take a roll call real quick. Jessica Choi,
Yes.
Jamie Schwayback,
Present.
Steve Rulin,
Present.
Jim Felton is absent today, and Steve Hunt is here. Okay, can we stand for a moment of silence and a pledge allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic in which it stands, one nation, God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Well done.
Okay, any special presentations? Special announcements and communications and public comment from the floor?
Thank you. Good evening. The city will celebrate its 50th anniversary on Saturday, October 18, downtown Marina from noon till 5 p.m. Big party with live music, beer and wine garden, kids play zone, and booth vendors. So I hope everybody comes out October 18, noon to 5, and then hang around to have dinner in one of our restaurants there. That's the plan. Thank you.
Aye.
Opposed? Have it? Very good. And, the City Hall, parking, DVD and a capital project.
Good evening, Chair and members of the Public Works Commission. My name is Guido Persconi. I'm the Director of Development for the city. So I'm going to be presenting a draft ordinance to this commission, and then with hopes of getting some feedback going to City Council in November. So there's two parts to this. There is the parking lot ordinance, and then there's an AB 413, and I'll go over both. So next slide. So just a little bit of background. So since about 2016, most people are aware there's been a big push in Sacramento to make significant changes to the way planning departments operate. At last count, there were over 61 bills adopted by the last two governors to streamline the development and to find ways to build more housing within cities. So one of the changes that has recently come about is prior to about 2 years ago actually, you would look in a zoning code, and for every type of use, there would be a minimum amount of parking that a applicant would have to provide. So for an apartment complex, for a residential, anywhere from 1 to 3 parking spaces, depending on bedrooms and a whole bunch of other factors. So about 2 years ago, the state adopted AB 2097, and it removed the parking minimums for housing projects within a half mile of a major transit stop. So the map I'm showing you guys on the screen is from the MST site, and that is the half mile radius around. And so this, not getting into the politics of it, makes sense in San Francisco or Oakland if you're near BART or light rail. Can be a challenge here in Marina. And so I'm before you and going to be before the council in November because this could have implications for people coming to your meetings, to the city council meetings, and other public meetings in this parking lot. So since this law got adopted, I've been working with the police department to identify, well, what can we do to make sure that people have an access to their city council, the planning commission, public works commission, any other city business so that we can preserve this parking lot for the people's business. And so that's the first part of the ordinance that I wanted to get some feedback from this commission on. You can go to the next slide. So the draft parking ordinance before you today to ensure Marina residents can attend city council and other public meetings unimpeded. Staff are recommending modifications to the city's municipal code to ensure the city hall parking lot is used for people conducting city business. And additionally, no parking will be allowed on the property from 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. So we're trying to craft it in that way. So if somebody does go to a city council meeting or a late night public works or planning commission meeting, most of the city council meetings end here around midnight. We have somebody chuckling. They're supposed to end earlier. So we're trying to craft it in a way that respects people's right to be on the property for commission and city council business. So that's why we're saying no parking after 1 a.m., which a council meeting should be over by then. So that's the first part of the ordinance before the commission. And then the second part, next slide. This is not really related to me, but I'm helping out the police department as part of this ordinance. AB 413 took effect January 1st, making it illegal to park within 20 feet of an approaching marked or unmarked crosswalk. And so while I was already working on an ordinance to support the police department in enforcement of the city hall parking lot, they were like, well, why don't we throw this in there as well? So that is just the second part of the ordinance, just basically codifying what's already state law, saying you can't park within 20 feet of that intersection, and also adopting corresponding fines related to the state law. So next slide. So by state law, in my interactions with the police department, they've educated me that the city can adopt fines as long as it's generally reasonable with the neighboring jurisdictions within the county. So they're proposing a $50 parking lot fine within the city hall parking lot. And if you're violating AB 413, approximately $100. And the slide shows that that's generally comparable with the cities in Monterey County. So next slide, please. So before you today, and I'm really here to get feedback from the commission, this is the language that I'm proposing, looking to get feedback from the commission. And next slide. And if you're wondering, actually, no, if you go back, there should be one more slide. Did we skip a slide? No, go back. No, okay. I think I accidentally took out one slide. So the reason why I'm here before your commission is if you look up in the municipal code in section 2.08 of the municipal code, the Public Works Commission actually has jurisdiction over public works projects and public facilities. So that's why before I brought this to council, I wanted to bring this to this body to get some initial feedback. So that concludes my very brief presentation. I look forward to getting comments from the commission.
So this is new for us or for me specifically. Tell me, can you summarize just quickly where we are now and what will change with this parking restriction once it goes into effect?
If you go back to the first part of the ordinance, actually, no, go forward. Yeah,
I get the AB 413.
yeah. So for this one, so right now, because my planning projects might go back one slide, because my planning projects might negatively impact people's ability to come to these public meetings. The police department is willing to enforce it, but they need more signage and they need something in the ordinance that says, hey, you're supposed to be here for city business or at a public meeting or whatnot. So that's what we're adding to the ordinance so that we can add it to the ordinance. We can put up signage so that they can properly enforce that. So that's what's before you today.
And that's because we're within a half-mile radius
Of the
the
MSD
transit
site.
center,
Yeah.
right? And are there any other parking lots affected by this or just this one?
The way we wrote the ordinance, it could impact the permit center parking lot where I work. But I think for now, we're really just trying to focus on the city hall parking lot. So,
Thank you.
oh, no problem. As the crow flies, so a half-mile radius. And also the reason why I'm here is we actually have one applicant who's actually already used this. So that was also further motivation for me to get this ordinance adopted. We have one about a block down the street. They're proposing 15 units and they were not required to provide any parking because they're within that half-mile buffer radius. We were able to negotiate with to get them to put 5 parking spaces in, but they really weren't required to do that. They only did that because we kind of politely pushed them. And so other projects will use this provision, and I just want to be able to protect people's rights to come to public meetings.
Are there any other lots that would be appropriate for exemption? So you're asking for an exemption of this space here. Is that what I'm understanding? You're carving out the space right outside rather than having that be used for overflow of residential.
Right.
Right. That you're trying to keep people who don't have business with the city at that moment from parking there and from parking overnight.
Right. So people can attend public meetings or conduct city business.
Okay. And there are no other places in that half-mile radius that's
I would have to check. The permit center might be within the half-mile radius, but I'll have to double check that. So,
if it were, it would be convenient to add that in now.
right.
Yeah. Okay. But I do support this effort, so thank you.
Can you repeat the origin of this no minimum parking requirement?
If you go back, Michelle, to so AB 2097 is a new state law that got adopted a year, maybe 2 years ago, that removes parking minimums for housing projects if you're within a half-mile of a major or future transit stop.
So this is new to me and I'm having an extremely difficult time comprehending the logic behind it because people who live in houses are going to have cars.
Right.
And if there's no parking provided for those cars, it's going to be a problem.
Right.
There's no way to change that. So since California State has decided that that would be appropriate for the general population, then it doesn't seem appropriate to me that we exclude our government people from that hardship or benefit as our state sees it.
Exclude.
You're saying that you don't want to follow the rule that the rest of the township has to follow, or city has to follow. Because it's obviously inconvenient for people not to have parking. So I think that,
Steve, I think that what,
Should
what they're trying to do is say that people who live in the vicinity can't park here as if they were parking in front of their residence.
Right.
Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank
so
you. Thank you.
we're trying to carve out this parking lot as exempt so that it's only allowed for people who are attending meetings or going into the city hall building. You can't park here and then walk to your house
Right.
or your apartment.
Couldn't, and all these people on Hillcrest are parked here trying to go to the house.
Right. Thank you. And really good explanation.
okay,
So, and just a point of reference, the blue line is the downtown. And so a lot of development could potentially go in the downtown area. I'm in charge of the downtown plan. And that half-mile buffer radius is a good chunk of the downtown. So it's a little to Commissioner Rowland's point that, yeah, that's why it's important for you to stay active politically, involved with your state assemblymen and state legislatures. These are bills that we have to implement, but these bills might make sense for Berkeley, Oakland, San Francisco when you're near a BART station or a Caltrain, but right in the smack dab the middle of Marina, we're not near all that. And so it gets to be challenging in terms of what you pointed out in terms of the people parking not off the street. So
seems like a recipe for disaster.
Does the city of Marina have residential parking permits?
we do not, we have not explored that. That might be something, Palo Alto does that, Menlo Park, some other cities that I'm closer. I live in San Jose, closer to San Jose. Yeah.
So it sounds like really, it's, as I look at the brief language, AB 290, 2097 removes parking minimums for housing projects. This is not a housing project. It's already been established. So what I'm, not that this is a big deal, but technically I failed to see where that connects to this parking lot.
Okay, so let me back up, and maybe I'm not doing a good job of explaining. So somebody built a 15-unit project. Literally, I could throw a baseball to it, and I don't want to point out the
Is
address.
that over there on Seacrest by?
It's on Hillcrest.
On Hill.
It's 15 units.
Okay.
Normally, under normal circumstances, we would require anywhere from 15 to about 25 parking spaces. But because that property is within a half-mile buffer of the MST site, they were required to buy 0 parking spaces. We negotiated with them to get 5 just to minimize the impact. The concern is that project and other projects in the half-mile radius, because they're not required to provide the off-street parking, will now park at City Hall, and no one is going to be able to get access to city council meetings, planning commission, public works meetings, whatever meetings the city wants to have. And now that negatively impacts the city's ability to legislate, do its business. And so what I'm trying to do is put this in the ordinance so the police department has the jurisdiction to say, hey, are you here for city business? No, then you need to leave. Because the people have a right to have access to their elected officials and commissioners.
And I'm guessing these projects, these 15 building or 15 unit apartments were permitted and approved prior to AB 2097?
That one got approved shortly after the bill got adopted. So we were required to implement
Did
that.
the people that approve it understand that there wasn't going to be parking with it?
Yeah, it was my department. The community development is the one that approves these projects.
It seems he used recipe for disaster. That is a recipe for disaster.
Right.
15 units, nobody can park.
Well, they put 5 because we were able to push them a little bit, but yeah.
Wow. Okay. It doesn't seem very residential friendly though, does it?
Yeah.
So, yeah, interesting. Okay. Well, I don't know what to say at this point, other than that's a direction that the city went. That's not our jurisdiction, but that seems kind of it's just not well thought out to me.
Yeah,
And I've seen that up in Sea Haven, some of the homes up there, there's zero parking
Yeah.
for the homeowners.
Yeah.
And I think in order for the developer to be able to build those homes, they had to get approval here to do that, correct?
that's true.
So
We're not going to change the state law though from this planning commission or this
Sure not.
public works commission. So, I applaud that you bring this up because I imagine it's not just for the meetings, it's for just even doing business at City Hall. If someone wants to come in and drop off some information or have a meeting or whatever, it's not just in the evenings, it's during business hours as well. I mean,
Right.
I would be very frustrated as a resident of the city if I couldn't get access to this, whether it's, coming up and getting dropped off or being able to park. So I would support this. I would like to make if I could make the motion, if we're ready, or if we need more discussion, that's fine too, but
a motion for,
if you slide it forward, I'll.
Oh,
go ahead and
yeah,
read off
I
the
did
screen.
to help out the commission. I did prepare a draft
Yeah,
motion.
I'm happy to,
Unless,
to do that.
is there anybody
Michelle.
online to make comment? Right. So if you want to go to the last slide. There you go.
There we go. I can read this.
Very good.
Someone did the work for us. I move to recommend to the city council adoption of amendments to the Marina Municipal Code Title 10 related to the enforcement of parking restrictions on city-owned parking lots and pursuant to AB 413, parking at intersections with corresponding amendments to the city's fee schedule. And 2, find this action is exempt from environmental review pursuant to section 15061B3 of the CEQA guidelines.
I think somebody has to make a second motion, a second to the motion.
okay,
Guido, as this says, city owned, so if you find out if that other lot.
Yeah,
it's
so,
where they would fall under this as
yeah,
well.
so just to clarify, so I think my primary concern is to help make sure people have access to this one. But the way we wrote it, it would affect other city
Thank you.
parking lots, but I think to help the people trying to focus on this one, let's see how it goes. And then, but if the council chooses to adopt it, then we could enforce it throughout, but let's just try to protect this one first.
Because wouldn't other city owned parking lots include those at parks?
Yes,
I mean, I could see, that's an obvious place where people would overflow and
Right.
park there when they're
Right.
not actually using the park facility.
but they would have to be within that half-mile radius, correct?
no, if the commission and the council adopts the ordinance as written, it would affect those parking lots as well. But some of that's a little bit outside of my community development. That's more the park and recs department. So I'm kind of, trying to stay in my lane and focus on the city hall parking lot for now.
Yeah, second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and negative, and I will abstain also. So we have
Okay.
2 ayes and 2 that will abstain.
Okay. So when I write the staff report, I'll just put that it was a 2-2,
Correct, yeah.
2 abstains and
Correct,
2.
yeah.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't think we have enough information. I
Okay.
don't understand what I'm.
Is there anything I could do to help
get it.
provide more
Well,
information?
I don't think that we've been given the, enough information to understand what the implications are of this, what parking lots specifically are involved, what the ordinance will read specifically. The ordinance here will read city business. What will they read in other areas? So it's kind of this blanket check, if you will, to just.
I'm here to answer any questions. I have as much time as you guys will allot me. So if you want to rescind the vote and I can answer those questions or not, it's totally up to the
Well,
commission.
If we leave the vote the way it is, what happens? It goes up to city council anyway. They're gonna make the final decision, are they not?
Yeah, but if it's in the minutes that the commission voted 2-2 because of lack of information, that kind of puts me in a negative light that maybe I didn't. So I'm trying to understand how I can better explain this to the commission or what information you need or. So it would affect other parking lots. So that's the first question. Yeah, go ahead.
So, commissioners, right now during council meetings, the parking lot's full. If the community center, has something going on the night of a council meeting, there's no room to park in this parking lot at all. I've parked down here at the City Hall Annex parking lot and walked up, and others have as well. And this, Guido wasn't joking when he said he could throw a baseball and hit the property where they're going to build 15 units. So 15 units, the developer says, I talked to the developer as well. He said, we're assuming that 10 will have no cars, 10 units won't have cars, and the other 5, 1 or 2 might have a car, and everybody else is going to use public transportation. We know that's not going to happen. There's going to be at least 20 cars. And right now on Hillcrest, there's nowhere to park for any residents or anybody. So those 20 plus cars are likely going to try coming into City Hall. So that's the reason for this. The state laws, the reason that happened, Commissioner Rowland, is that the state has been asking developers, what's it going to take to get you to build more affordable housing? And the developers said, well, if I could save money on parking and instead build more units where I make rent, that would help. So that's what the state has given them. Now, instead of building a parking lot here, they'd have 10 units instead of 15, and where the 5 units are, would be a parking lot. Instead, they're getting 15 units, which means 5 more units, giving them rent every month. So, if you're a developer, that's just the smarter way to go. And cities, I'm sure Guido's city, whoever he worked for during that time was a part of it. My former cities, we hired lobbyists in Sacramento all the time. We attended our elected officials and city manager attended meetings. State just, it's one of those things that got kind of forced down our throats. So, Michelle and I come to work every morning, and there's about between 10 and 15 cars that belong to people that live in apartments on this road that are parked here in the annex parking lot. So I've asked, it's gotten so bad in the last couple months that I've asked all my staff to park in the back so that people coming here for business during work hours can park in the front. But if our staff parks in the front, along with the 10 to 15 cars from the apartments, and you want to go in there to talk to somebody about a permit to replace your water heater, you're going to drive in and think there's no parking and go behind the building or over to the strip mall to find in front of the Korean store to find a place to park. So that's the reason for this. It is needed. And as more of these developments happen, it's going to be needed even more. So don't know if that helped, but
So we have AB 2097 and in a bubble of half a mile. I understand the dilemma with the city parking, the employee parking and so forth. What I don't understand is by approving this motion, it affects parking lots outside of AB 2097. We don't know what those parking lots are. We don't know what the language of the law will be. So what I'm understanding is that, that we say yes to this, we can slap a parking restrictions over at Tate, over at Windy Hill Park, over
so there's already
Sea Haven parking lots.
There's already parking restrictions at parks. Once a park is closed, there's not supposed to be people in there parked overnight. I don't know that it's been enforced, and this will help with the enforcement.
Time out a second. Are what we are discussing inside of that half-mile radius, or is it outside? Because I believe Guido and my fellow commissioner are under the impression that it's outside as well. I don't know at this point.
The ordinance is written so that it could be used for any city-owned parking lot. Our plan is this parking lot.
Why don't they write an ordinance for this parking lot then?
If that,
Yeah,
if
that-
that's the recommendation.
If that's your recommendation, yeah.
That would be my recommendation.
Yeah, I mean,
You know-
that's why I'm here to get feedback from you guys as residents. If your recommendation to the council is that you want to tailor this ordinance to just City Hall, then you can make that
Is there a
motion.
problem with any of the other parking lots?
That I can't speak to because that's more of a Park and Recs issue. But as Ishmael pointed out, that you're not supposed to be there anyways. That's already in the books if it's actually being enforced.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm here to get that feedback. If that's what the commission wants, to just tailor it to City Hall, happy to put that into the motion, and that would be what the recommendation would be to council.
That's my recommendation. I would like to hear from my colleagues.
I think so. I think I agree with that. Since when I look at the recommended motion, it's saying like on city-owned parking lots. So instead of kind of general statement, I think we can go by with just go with the
That's
city
City
hall
Hall.
parking lot
So-
first.
You have access to the PowerPoint. You can change it on the screen right now if you'd like, just so they know exactly what they're voting on. Or you can just make the motion and I can, yeah. Oh, she's,
I can look at the data.
you don't have access to the PowerPoint? Yeah. That's right. I mean, so I can make that change. If that's the direction that the commission wants to, we can certainly make that edit to the motion. So. That's fine.
So what do we need to do at this point?
If your recommended motion is what you've said about, move to adopt changes to Title 10 related to enforcement of parking on the city hall parking lot and just strike the word city-owned parking lots. If that's the motion from the commission, then you're certainly within your right as this body to make that edit. And if that's within your right.
So none of us, and myself included as the chair, have experience in this, okay? Do we amend the motion or do we just start a new one?
You could probably just start a new one. That's fine.
So I will make a motion to use the language in point number 1 and limit it to the city parking lots where the planning commission or where the city hall, the building departments are, these parking lots.
Mhm.
It sounds like that's where the problem is, not anywhere else. So if we can keep it to with that and we put signs that the police can enforce those lots, that's the motion I would like to bring to the table.
That's perfectly within your right. So somebody has to second the
Second to
motion.
the motion.
Vote again. All in favor, say aye.
Hi.
Against? And
Thanks.
again. So three, we're,
The way that it's written now is, in my opinion, better for residents of Marina and access to marine facilities. So I think it's better as it's originally written.
Okay.
Because if you're concerned about this right about now, and there's any additional building with little or no insufficient parking for the number of residents, it's only going to get worse. So that's why I think the way that it's written. cover- But I don't know, it's wording, but a broader application for city parking lots. So that city residents can take advantage of city facilities and the offices.
So to accurately reflect what's occurred tonight, when I write my city council staff report, I will put that the Public Works Commission, and I'll put in what you guys voted on today, but I will also include the comment from Commissioner Rollin about, if there were also discussions about making it broader to other, if that's reasonable for the commission, just so the council has the full understanding of what this body talked about.
I would agree. I would agree with you.
You know, what the advantage of bringing it to one rather than the other city parking lots that will find themselves in a similar situation.
Well, because the ordinance is, they said it's gonna be written for city use, so that gives them the flexibility to use whatever language that they wanna use for whatever parking lot they wanna use. I don't see that there's a problem with any other parking lot, so why create an ordinance that's not necessary for other parking lots when this is the only parking lot that I see that it's been explained to me where there's a problem? That's why I've had 0 time to research. How much have you had? Jamie, how much have you had? I
I've
don't
not,
think any of us have had any time I mean, what other parking lots? I don't even know what the implications are with or without this ordinance. I really don't. That's why, I'm limiting it to what I do understand, which is, it's like a shell, it feels like a shell game here. We were introduced to AB 2097 that said within a half a mile radius, okay, a half a mile radius. So if we take the center of the transit center and expand out the entirety of the city marina, what's that now? A mile, mile and a half, 2? I don't know. But a half a mile just became much greater if we just accept this language the way it was written. Correct me if I'm misunderstanding that.
I'm not sure of the question. So,
this, to take a step back, because I don't have Title 10 in front of me. I don't.
oh,
I-
it's just the parking enforcement. Yeah,
Okay,
so
so
parking and traffic.
lot by lot, depending on the use, there are going to be different restrictions that are appropriate for that particular parking lot and the purpose it's meant to serve. So we're not saying that every city-owned parking lot is going to necessarily have the same restrictions on it.
The original motion did, but this body is making the recommendation to focus it just on the city hall parking
No,
lot.
I'm talking about the restrictions themselves, like whatever restrictions there may be, like you talked about. For example, a parking lot at a park is going to have a specific restriction that says when the park closes, whether that's at sunset or whatever the signage says at the park, then the corresponding parking lot should be empty at
That's
that
true.
time, right?
Yes,
Okay, so
that's
lot
already.
by lot, it's going to differ. Those restrictions are going to differ. We don't have a blanket policy for every single lot that's owned by the city.
As Ishmael alluded to, I think from my understanding, when it's sundown, they're not supposed to be parking there. But the question that Ishmael brought up is it actually being enforced? That I don't know, because that's a little bit more on
Okay,
the PD side of the house.
So that's for parks. Those are some of the city-owned lots are parks.
Yeah.
This is a city-owned lot, but it's not a park. It's
Yeah.
something different.
Right.
When we develop these other parks and we have these other projects that are in the works, those are going to have different functions because they're going to be attached to facilities that have different hours.
Right.
So I don't know if we take a bite at this and make it more broad and more general, because I'll understand that someone's going to be in charge of looking at the lot and making a decision as to what the restriction should be for that particular lot.
Right.
That's the point I'm trying to get to. Is like, this is saying that all city lots will have restrictions enforced. It gives the police department more power to enforce whatever restrictions are appropriate for that specific lot.
That's a fair summary. Yeah.
So that has nothing to do with 2097 then, right?
Yes and no.
All city lots, right?
Yes and no.
Regardless of where they sit geographically to that center point.
Yes and no. I mean, yeah. So
I think
because I think the broader argument is that, which I think the chair is bringing up, is in terms of its impact. Is my goal is to protect the city hall, but if you're at a park and you're within that half-mile buffer radius, and if we don't put this language in there, potentially people could just park in the parking. And now you as a resident potentially would not be able to get access to utilize that park because all of the cars are there. Right. So it's a yes and no answer.
The parking becomes the resident parking because they didn't build any resident parking when they built the residences. So.
And by the way, this commission is bringing up really good points. When I go to council, I'll probably have to show the parks that are within that half-mile radius to educate the council
Let
as
me
well.
ask you this question, and I don't know if that's whoever can answer, anybody, please, but do any of these parking lots have any type of restrictions now?
They do. I think we've alluded
So
to
what
that.
would we be modifying?
To putting more
So,
like,
okay,
Right.
so enforcement. So with the restrictions, we cannot enforce right now
I don't think they are.
because,
well, that's a
wait,
enforcement. yeah.
so if there are restrictions and there people are violating those restrictions, why can't they be enforced?
Yeah, and I can't speak for the police department. I mean, obviously they have a lot on their
I
plate, so.
understand if there's no restrictions out here and somebody parks overnight between 1 and 4, and we can we'll vote yes to put restrictions in place there, but you've already got restrictions. So I don't understand why you need a blanket to create more restrictions when all they need to do is be enforced if there's a problem. So.
Isn't this something in the fee schedule?
Yeah, and it's also, yeah, if you go to the slide that showed the fines.
I also don't signage.
Now I gotta do.
And I know there's no signage in our parking lot.
Yeah, and then not the purview of Public Works Commission, but thank you for bringing that up. If the council takes this up, we do have to update our fees to impose the fine because that gives the police department the authority to actually impose the fines. And then if the council chooses to adopt it, then the police department working with the Public Works Department would put up the signage, and the signage with the verbiage from the ordinance gives the police officer on duty the authorization to issue the citation. So that's all part of this package, but some of it's not purview of the Public Works Commission.
So
So,
in summary, I believe your intent, Guido, was to preserve the city parking lots for city use and not to be transferred or transformed into residential parking due to lack of existing parking.
exactly.
So to me, that makes perfect sense.
Perfect
now.
sense.
And
Okay, well, I should have done a better job explaining, so I apologize. Thank you.
That makes-
That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
That's
no,
why I'm here.
but-
Thank you.
But,
So,
but I think where it became confusing for me anyway is when you started bringing up parking lots outside of AB 2097. What do they have to do with AB 2097? Nothing, right? Am I right or am I wrong?
well, yeah,
My
I
sense
moved,
is that 2097 exacerbates a problem we already have.
yeah,
Well, yeah, and yeah, no
yeah,
doubt.
yeah,
And getting worse. Obviously,
Right.
the 15 units coming up a
right,
stone throw away. And
yeah,
there's no parking already.
right.
That's brilliant.
so I vote to preserve. Motion as it is stated.
You know, I'm here at the behest, whatever you guys want to do is what I will report out to the council. And by the way, first of all, I want to say I appreciate all the constructive dialogue because it'll help me give a better presentation to
I
council.
do have a question
So, thank
regarding
you.
AB
So-
413 though. In terms of that 20 feet of parking.
Yeah, if you
Is
go
that
back,
any
go back.
residential neighborhood
I
where
think it's,
where like,
I believe it's any
it
intersection.
doesn't have to be a
believe it's-
collector or arterial? Any,
No,
okay,
it's
that's all I need
any-
to know. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
And thank God for that, because that's where I live, pretty hairy sometimes.
Well, it's any intersection. It's not just that intersection. Yeah. So that's
So-
also part of this.
Can we go back to vote on the original and dismiss the other proposal? Are we willing to do that or not willing?
At a 2-2 vote, and you had abstained. So if you're willing to change,
One,
but if you were willing to change on the original, then we'd be,
Trying to.
so I'm okay with that. I will give a yes vote if we can put language in that says this only affects parking lots inside of that half a mile radius for now.
If that's what the body wants, that whatever, I'm here.
That's what we're protecting,
Okay.
right?
So,
No.
No?
sure, sure.
AB 2097 or whatever it was, that's the law that allows people to build without any parking. If it's on the edge of that half-mile zone, they could still walk 2 blocks up to another parking lot where we have a park and park there. So, yeah, there's still an issue. And then also when MST surf line is done, we could be forced to draw a half-mile radius circle around that, which gives even more areas. So, yeah, I just wanted to give you that information before you decide to limit parking lots.
So again, I propose that we vote on the original without change to it in order to encompass future changes, future limits in available parking. Are we willing to take a vote on that original as stated?
Somebody's got a second.
I can't second my original motion.
Then I second that.
And you know, we've got a 3-1. Let's just leave it at that, okay?
That's
Very good.
completely up to the commission.
Let's just leave it at that. Do we need to discuss these fees at all?
Well, they're not really in your guys' purview.
Thank
fee.
God.
Like
That's
the
good.
planning commissions usually don't get
Yeah.
involved with fees. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
all right. All right, very good.
By the way, don't kill the messenger. I'm really implementing state law. Like there, by the way, you don't even want to know about the other 61 housing bills that I have to implement. Some of just, their super density bonus. You can get an 85-foot tall building in some cities with staff level approval, with no parking. I mean, there's just a lot. And so that's why I'm encouraging you to stay politically active, because these bills are signed by your state legislature and I have to enforce them. And it puts us in a very, as you can tell, these conversations are very challenging to have, because these are statewide laws. Then some of them, don't make sense in Trinity County or Marina or other places. So I appreciate the dialogue and thank you for helping me think about how to present better.
Thank you, Guido.
So thank you. Thank you so much.
I don't want Marina to become San Jose.
Thank you so much. I'm driving home now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, this brings us to item number 8, Commissioner and Staff Information Reports.
No, I got a capital project review.
I'm sorry. Oh, Capital Project Review. Got ahead of myself.
Thank you, Commissioner Chair. Yeah, one of those. And give one to Elizabeth too. So this is a work in progress. And we can send you the electronic copy if you'd like, but this is a work in progress. These are all of our capital projects that are approved for funding. The first column is project number, and there's a easy way to understand those letters, but I don't have the legend here with me tonight. So the first section is airport projects. Second section is transportation projects. The third is facility projects. Then we have park projects, and for some reason, there's 3 more facility projects that were separated. I've already, in my laptop, I've already moved those up and combined those with the facility projects group above park projects. And then miscellaneous. And these are just different things that kind of didn't fit anywhere. Fire department projects and police department projects. The full spreadsheet, the third column is the total budget that's approved. I'm having the finance department fill that in, expenses to date and remaining budget, so that we know where we are on each project. And then there's more columns in the electronic version. There's a column for status, a column for notes, and then there's 4 or 5 columns where to put into quarters of the year that we believe that budget's going to be spent. For example, if a project has a $10 million budget and we know the next 4 quarters is going to be design, and that design is about $1 million, then we'll have $1 million there. And then the other 9 million, we'll have that programmed out for future financial quarters. And the reason for that is so that our finance director knows that she can take that cash and put it into investments. And if we're not going to use it for 2 years, then she can make some interest on that $9 million for those 2 years while design and other things are being done. So that will be the full spreadsheet. And that's something that Public Works will keep updated. I had a intern start on this, and then he went back to college, finished this summer, went back to college. So we'll be continuing this internally. Tonight, I just wanted to give this to you so you see the long list of projects that we're working on. We have, there's about $150 million of capital projects going right now. If you include projects that we have in design, or at least we're already starting, for example, the Preston Park ball field expansion project, we've already started efforts to put together the RFP, the request for proposals for engineering design on that. So if you take that, projects at that stage, design, pre-construction, construction, we have about $150 million in projects that are moving. So it's very intense for a city this small. We're using a lot of consultants to which helps us kind of expand our staff capacity. And it's a lot of fun, but things are moving pretty fast. So just today I told my staff, all right, we're not starting anything new until we hire these 2 engineers, because I'm already I'm a little bit of a workaholic, so I don't mind working a little bit evenings and weekends, but it's getting pretty intense. So somehow I have to write 3 staff reports tomorrow before noon, and I have meetings and phone calls and things. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. So might be up at 4 o'clock in the morning writing. But anyway, what I want to do is I asked Michelle, and we mentioned this at the last meeting, we're going to keep that capital project review on this agenda. We might not discuss it every month, but we will provide you with an updated spreadsheet so that you can see every month that something's been changed from RFP released to receive proposals. And then, a month later, it's changed to going to council. I want this commission to be more active in some of those things. So where maybe on paper, I only have to take something to council for approval, I want to bring it here first, like Guido did, to keep this commission in the loop, get feedback. And then when I go to council knows that this commission has already reviewed what we're doing as well. Same thing with purchases. We've got a lot of big equipment that we're purchasing. So as soon as I get some more staff, I want to bring all that to this council as well. So when we're buying a street sweeper, when we're buying a multi-hog, funny name, but it does a million different things. And so anyway, that's the goal, is to get to that point. If you have any questions about this list, any feedback, I'd be happy to take that. Otherwise, we can finish off this meeting reviewing these plans that we have over here, which I said I would bring to this meeting.
Going forward, would you add the status? Because you said that we could see if the status changed, but without any status.
Yeah, the status is on my electronic version. So that's what we'll include in the council packet, and you'll see it. It would just take more paper to have it all on here. Yeah, but I do have that on the electronic version.
Are all of
Yeah, I'm
these,
happy with the
I'm sorry,
electronic.
are all of these projects in motion right now?
They are all approved.
They're all approved, okay?
Yeah, so let me give you an example. All those airport projects, most of them are not going to be done after all, because when Joby moved its operations here, built the facilities that they've built, they've continued to add on. They've been leasing these buildings. So our airport manager is, he's working on, he's going to reduce this list because when Joby moved in to lease a building from us, they did all the rehab work to it. So we don't need to remodel it because it's already done. But we do have some projects that are going to continue out there. We also have things like, let's see if I can find it here. I'm not sure if you're aware that we were going to put up should be in parks, I think. Disc golf parking and access. That's the first project under the park projects group. There was plans to build a disc golf, whatever you call it, course in the wilderness area at the corner of Salinas and Reservation. But we have too much Monterey Gilia there, so that killed that project. And the plan was to put in some parking there and, disc golf. This way you're in this forest area and trying to get these frisbees all in between trees and bushes and things. So that project is not going to happen. When we look back here at these conceptual designs, you'll see that we're putting in a 9-hole disc golf course at the Sea Haven Park. So, so once this spreadsheet is fully built out, you'll see these projects are being eliminated or reconsidered or repurposed. And those statuses will be there for you to see.
Quick question. I see Windy Hill Park playground upgrades. Is that complete?
We installed the playground, but the final step is to put a restroom at that park.
Yes,
And that is in design right now.
You had mentioned that. Thank you.
Yeah, the restroom's been ordered. The design work is for the infrastructure, the water, sewer, and electrical lines to the pad where we're going to put the restroom. With that, we will tidy up the landscaping a little bit more, and then that project will be done.
The letters.
Yeah, the project numbers. If I work here for 20 years, I'll never know them. So yeah. Some people care about those things. I don't. It doesn't make a difference to me, but finance department, it helps them with their asset management and finance management. I don't need it, but
Like QL is like quality of life.
Yeah.
They stand for something when they.
a couple of things that are very relevant to this commission and also to the rest of the city. Under transportation projects, the first project, 8th Street extension from 2nd Avenue to Inter Garrison Road, that's the one that's going to separate, basically separate Marina from CSUMB's large parking lot out there. And they have plans for that parking lot. They want to develop some things out there. That project is in design. We are finalizing talks with CSUMB so that whatever we finish designing there is, we need some of their right of way. They want some things from us. So we're working on a win-win situation with them. And that will help a lot because right now people that live in the Dunes Park or the Dunes area are having a lot of people coming on Imgen and driving through their neighborhood to avoid going to 2nd. And once that's there, people will be able to quit doing that. So mostly students and teachers or people going to and from the school. The next project, arterial striping, that's misspelled. It says stripping. So yeah. That project, we have like $250,000 or something like that budget for that. We have you see all this road work going on around town. What we're doing is we're probably going to take that money and we're going to transfer it to those road projects and just tell them while you're here restriping these 2 blocks, keep going to the city limit. And this way we get economy of scales, some savings and per linear foot that we paint. So I want to be able to give you guys answers to that. Well, you said we were going to stripe the whole town. Well, this is what's happening. We found a way where we think we can get some savings and get more bang for our buck. The The fifth one on transportation projects, citywide shaving to avoid trip hazards. That project has been going on for about 3 weeks. You may have seen a guy with a big shop vac. He's got it on wheels and he's pushing around and takes out I forget the name of that saw, but he shaves the high spots in the sidewalks. That project is going extremely well. When it's done, they will give a presentation to Public Works Commission and also to City Council. And they're going to tell us exactly how many trip hazards they eliminated, show us on a map where they went. They're going to provide us with GIS layer with every repair marked out so that we can see on a map where they are. And they're also going to give us all the data for areas that they could not repair because the sidewalk lift is too much and they have to remove and replace the concrete. So we'll have numbers, we'll have estimates, we'll know what the next step of sidewalk maintenance in Marina is going to be. So anyway, just a lot of projects. There's a total of 99. Some, thank God, aren't mine. Under miscellaneous, a lot of the plans will be in Guido's office. The gateway entry sign, that's kind of on hold right now. And then the fire department and police department, those two projects I don't have to manage, so that's also nice. Any questions about this list? Feedback?
The big list,
It's a big list.
very aggressive.
Yeah,
I appreciate you providing this.
yeah, no problem.
Yeah, it'll be nice to see, what the budgets are and be able to
Yeah.
follow the progress.
Yeah.
Once the spreadsheet is complete.
Mhm.
Is there any way to get electronic access to that?
I will send it to you in an Excel file, so you'll have it electronically. And if you go to the city's website and look for the departments, go into the finance department, the copy of this year's budget is in there.
Yeah.
The last 141 pages or something like that is dedicated to these projects. There's a project sheet for each of these projects, and it has some budget information in there. The thing it doesn't show is how much has been spent to date isn't in all of them. So that's what I'll be working with finance on to make sure that we're not going over, we're not missing anything.
Out of curiosity, what's the lifespan of a street sweeper?
So it depends. We can make a machine last 10, 15 years. It depends on how fast the state comes and says you have new emission requirements, you need to get rid of that and buy a new one.
Ah.
So I think in my 20 years in government work, I've probably bought 3 or 4 street sweepers, 2 Vector trucks, and they're all $400,000 to $800,000 machines. And half of them were just because carb restrictions changed and we had to get rid of them. So.
I have a question on street sweeping schedule. Easy for me to say. I saw that online, how well is that adhered to? And the reason I ask is because some of my neighbors constantly park in a location in front of their house and then
Yeah.
there's no sweeping. So if I knew when that would occur, I could ask them to move their car
Yeah.
to another location.
So right now and I don't know how long it's been like this, but for some time that schedule has not been adhered to at all. There is a contract street sweeper, and basically what he does is calls and says, "Hey, I'm free next Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday." And he comes in during those 3 days. He's filling up his schedule with City of Marina work. So we just bought the new street sweeper. Technology's changed a lot. So the last one I bought in the city of Dinuba was 600,000. We bought one for 350,000. It's does not require a commercial driver's license. It's small enough that a Class B driver can drive it. But all of the capacity numbers are the same. So the suction is the same. The distance you can go on a full tank is the same. The size of the water tank is the same. The hopper, and it's just because somebody got smart and compacted everything and, yeah. So our staff just trained on it, so we haven't implemented that yet, but October is when we're implementing that. And what we're doing is we are taking all 4 council districts, dividing them in half so that we have 8 street sweeping routes. Route 1 and 2 will be on Tuesday and Wednesday of the first full week of the month. So there's no street sweeping this week. Next week, Tuesday and Wednesday will be Route 1 and 2. The following week will be 3 and 4, 5 and 6, and then 7 and 8 on the 4th week of the month. We will do that a couple of months to let our guy get some more training. Then we're going to publish it, put it on social media. Make sure everybody has something. I don't know if we're going to do door hangers or mailers to every house. And at that point, Commissioner Rowland, you'll be able to let your neighbors know, hey, street sweeper's coming tomorrow. I will say this though, street sweeping is to mitigate the piling up of dirt and debris. So if a resident calls and says, hey, I forgot today was my day, my husband left his car and parked in front of the house, can you come back and hit my house? We're going to tell them no, we were already there, so we'll catch you next month. Our job is not to get the front of everybody's house. It's to stop the accumulation of sand and trash in the gutters. So sometimes when we have time, we will do it, but we don't want to make that public.
Just those cars are there.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Yeah.
So it hasn't been cleaned in 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah. What we will do though is, if there's a special circumstance, we will absolutely go through and clean somebody's, schedule, do a schedule with somebody where they can move their cars and we can get in there. So anyway, yeah, it's coming and that'll be a good one. That'll be a very good change for the city of Marina. If you've got nothing else, we can take some time and look at these park pictures back here. We can show you what's being built and where. And all right, come on up or down. Start at any of them, you can look around and ask me questions, or I'll go through them at a time.
It is exciting.
So this is Sea Haven Park. Now I'm calling it Sea Haven Park because it's being built in the Sea Haven subdivision. The actual name of the park is going to be something else. Our parks manager, she's working with the Parks and Recreation and Cultural Services Commission to come up with names for parks. But for now, it's Sea Haven. This is it's just a different park. You're coming in from back here's Engine. And so if you're on Abrams, this is where the parking lot is. The parking lot brings you into the center of the park, and that's to give these people some privacy. You make all the noise you want when you're 300 yards away. We have a small dog park, a large dog park. Right now, there's 4 pickleball courts. That's going to be doubled, put in 8. Any residents love pickleball. So, all these things here, you can read the numbers and you know what it is. For example, 13 is going to be some play equipment. There's a plaza for a potential farmer's market. I doubt we'll ever have a farmer's market there, but this, you will be able to do things in this area. Hello. The disc golf, you can see number 10. Here we go. And there's hole 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it brings you right back down to 9. So that'll be fun for people. There's going to be a lot of open space. If you've been out there and seen how big this park is, this has got to be 3+ acres just for people to run around and kick a soccer ball. That'll be grass. Yeah. So number 7, open turf area. What's number 6? Natural seeded, no irrigation. So that's kind of like what we see at a lot of areas. Yeah. Yeah. Leave seeds, but no turf. But could be this area here. This has been designed and ready to go for a long time. The developer did not move on building it, as we hope. So the city asked. Batteries dying. Batteries dying. So what the city asked is, we talked to the developer and said, look, just give us the cap, put into this, and we will that immediately. So that'll be going to bid in the next 30 to 60 days. Oh, you can take a picture, you can fold them up, take them home if you want.
I can send you guys these PDFs.
Yeah, do that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
This next park is the Dunes Park, and that's the one next to the Sports and Aquatic Center that's going to be going in or going to be remodeled. This park has so many amenities and the natural land contours provide for example, there's a huge, beautiful tree here, and we're putting a lookout area. From here, you can see the ocean over the Target building in this direction. It's just a beautiful view. It's a lot higher than the rest of the park. It goes down. We're already looking at various awards to apply for once this is built, because this is going to win some for sure. There's a small area. I say small, it's probably the size of a football field. This one, number 9, is big. This is a inclusive playground. You'll be hearing a lot about that. We'll be asking for volunteers and things in the months to come. That is going to be one of the largest in the state of California. And one of the reasons it's so big is because it's for kids of all abilities. So if they're in a wheelchair, there's not steps for them to go up to. There's a nice long ramp for them to get in and out of it. And yeah, it's going to be the pride of Marina, I think. There's plenty of areas, plenty of sports. There's tennis, pickleball courts. There's a futsal court over here, which is kind of like a fenced-in miniature soccer area. Sand volleyball. These wetlands won't actually have water in them. They will look like they will look like this. I think there's a page missing, but it's going to be for storm runoff, and we're designing it so that it will there's enough area spread out that we'll never have to fence it off or to stop kids from getting in there. It's just going to be a marsh area. So there's going to be a tribute area here, number 12, Memorial Garden to Fort Ord. There's plenty of rooms for dogs. There's going to be there was a dog that was stationed here at Fort Ord that did some amazing war type stuff. And so there's going to be a memorial for canines as well that were in military. This here is phase 2. We're not building this right now, but it's going to be an amphitheater, concession and restrooms. If you include the lawn area where people can sit down on a blanket, it'll have about a 700-person capacity. Additional parking back here. So that's phase 2. We're designing it now just because it makes financial sense to have the same designer do it now. So here you can see just a blown up picture of the amphitheater. The design firm that's working on this, the amphitheater at Vina Robles. So
What's the timeframe on completion of phase 1?
So phase one will go to bid, the design will be done in December. We'll go to bid January or February, depends on how many, sometimes your plans are done, but there's a few more things we want to do to make clear for contractors. Construction will start around March. And this project will probably take a year and 4 months or so to construct. So, early 2027, it'll be complete.
That's everything but the amphitheater.
Everything and this parking.
Wow.
Yeah. That'll be a fun project. We submitted a grant application for this. Preston Park currently has these two ball fields and a field here. We want to expand this. This is early conceptual. I have another. But what we want to do is have two baseball diamonds. And then when baseball's going on, we have two soccer or football. We want to add some parking. There used to be a playground here, so we're going to put a playground back in here. We're considering expanding parking here. We're just looking at everything that we can do. We'll fix the basketball courts and this will be a really good project. We applied for grant funding. The grant we applied for will give up to 50% of a project capped at 4 million. So if we get that grant, this park is probably about a $9 to $10 million park. So we'll get $4 million in grants. It's capped at 4 million if we get the grant. Yeah. With grants, no news is good news. They usually send out the no's pretty quickly. This here is just an informational update. The Gloria Jean Tate project. MCWD has this is that little road that comes in. I forget the name of this little thing, but Abdi. They have a sewer line that comes through here. And right now it comes like this to about here, and then it shoots across our fence line. They are building a new sewer lift station here, adding a couple of manholes here. I was told they're going to eliminate this manhole and instead they're going to come like this and kind of stay in the park. So they're doing that construction right now, and they started it while we were already working on our park. And basically what it's doing is it's slowing down this area. The trucks for their project need to be able to get in and do the work. So everything in green is continuing as planned and will be done. Oh gosh, Elizabeth, do you remember the dates? I want to say May, and the red will be done in September.
What is all this?
The white is the bicycle pack, the pump track. Yeah, it's already done. Yeah. So there's enough work done that you can see the concrete work here, and you can tell how nice that's going to look. The concrete work around the Scout House looks really nice. Yeah, a couple more months, it's really going to be looking nice. It'll be very well developed. Yeah. It was all supposed to be complete in May, and then because of this part's not going to be done until September. Parking is only here. Now, this parking is still going to be open. It's just not, the reason it's red is because this part of the parking lot is in good shape, but we're going to do a slurry seal on it before we complete this project. And because the slurry is not going to be done until then, we're leaving it red.
There's
But-
also parking on Cardo's, at least
Yeah.
presently. I don't know if that was changed.
It'll still be there. But yeah, the parking lot will be open. We just need this area open so that trucks can go in and out. But all these parking stalls here will be available. So, and I have not looked at this as well as I should have. There's a dog park in there somewhere. Yeah, you'd have to read here and find where it is.
Closest to the reservation.
Yeah.
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 The other side of the wall, on the other side of the stairs.
Yeah, I don't see it here, but yeah, oh, here it is, dog park. 41. No, I don't see 41, but if you find 41, that's where the dog park is.
That's an amazing amount of development.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, they're doing a good job.
Yeah, they've been really busting on that one.
41.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Yay.
yeah, so it is this area here.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What's here?
Highway,
Oh, okay.
there's,
This is the Route 1, right?
Route 1 is, yeah, there's some distance between here and Route 1, but it's just trees and stuff like Caltrans. So that is the last of our items for you tonight.
Okay, well, so that brings us to item 8, commissioners, staff and information reports. We have none. No correspondence. So this meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.